Let's talk about third-party virtual events in Gecko. These are really, really simple virtual events. They basically allow you to capture the booking information of the student in Gecko, manage the event in Gecko, but when it comes to actually joining the call or the webinar or whatever the virtual thing is that you're running, the student goes to the RSVP page or email, clicks a link, and it redirects them to wherever that call is, be it on Teams or Zoom or wherever you host your virtual calls. Very easy to set up. We're going to go through the setup from a single event perspective, but also a session-based perspective because it varies slightly, but it's certainly enough to give you a flavor of how to confidently log into the system and start building these. Let's begin by going to Events, and we'll click New Event in the top right-hand corner. We'll give this a super uncreative name. We'll call this Virtual Event, and we'll make sure that this runs tomorrow. We'll tell Gecko this is a single event to begin with, and crucially, this is a virtual third-party event. Now, quite simply, we just put the link to our webinar here. So I'm going to be putting a URL because I want to show you, I want to type something in, but you would type in the link to wherever your call is taking place. So the Zoom links or the team links would go here. When you're happy, go ahead and hit save changes, and this is something you can start sharing now on the event booking form. Sorry, on the booking form that you share this on, it'll show students it's a virtual event. It'll give all of the information that you'd expect on hosts, the description of the event, the colors, the images, all of that good stuff that you enjoy in the other events is there too. But when you come to join the event and the time becomes right, for instance here at 9 o'clock or however many minutes before 9 we want to let people join this, they're going to get the option to join right away. This is for a single event though. What happens if you're running a session-based event? Well, luckily it's not that difficult. You go to the type in category, choose the type of session-based event, hit save, and let's go ahead and build one of our sessions. So we'll call this session A. And it's exactly the same as an in-person session. We add the descriptions, any information we want. Crucially, in the location, though, we're not integrating with Google Maps. For the session location, this is where we put the link to our Zoom call or our Teams call. So the call that you want your students to be joining. Now, very, very straightforward to get going. Now, let's actually go into an event that I've built previously with a student so we can see what the RSVP page looks like. Now, this is a multiple session event, a virtual third party, and we have two different sessions here, both of which are set up to redirect the student to Gecko, but one of them is the link won't be active until this is tomorrow for me at 9 a.m, so a long way out. But the other call is actually active now. Stupidly, we've said join this link, but the student can join that many minutes before the event starts. So I think the biggest number you can possibly fit in that type of field. So when the student looks at their RSVP page, they'll see something like this. Now, of course, the QR code doesn't show because we don't need to scan anyone into a virtual event. The student sees it's a virtual event in the text, but we can see for our two different sessions, we have two slightly different options. This one is saying you can only join online from this particular time. So basically wait until the session starts. But for this session, because we set that ludicrously early join before time, I've got the option to see what it looks like when that time comes around. So if I click join now, it's going to show me the joining instructions. It'll have marked me as attended in Gecko, and if I click proceed to stream, it's going to load the URL. So for you, again, that would be Teams or Zoom likely, but for me, I just put in the Gecko homepage because it's a beautiful homepage.